I want to switch gears here to football because the Browns start in a week, and I got to tell you,
Crazy.
we were in agreement last year on Freddie Kitchens from the start. And I got to tell you, from listening to Kevin Stefanski, from watching some of the building the Browns series, I am so impressed with Kevin Stefanski. Now I know he hasn't coached in a game yet, and that's a completely different animal. But from just hearing his press conferences, from listening to his mindset, from listening to his calm demeanor, I got a feeling, man, this year there is no talk about the Browns. It's all about Baltimore. It's all about Pittsburgh, which I don't understand. In my opinion, if Baker Mayfield has this season, his rookie season that he had this season, the Browns have all the weapons in the world. There is no excuse for this team to not be a wild card team.
There isn't really. I have a feeling the Browns, they're either going to be 9 or 7 or 10-6, and I had to put the same with the Steelers too. I mean, I feel like those teams are about the same. But we just got to see how they turn out because it feels like Odell seems to be healthier this year. That's good because he was hurt all last year and he just didn't really tell anyone. Same thing with Jarvis. He just came off of surgery. I think he's going to be healthy. You got Nick Chubb, who's one of the top 10 running backs in the league. I think he'll be fine. Plus, you got Kareem Hunt, too. I think offensively fine. Defense will have to be the big issue because we had Mac Wilson go down in training camp, and so that's going to be hurt. So linebacker position is going to be tough because all we got is Taki, and I don't know if he can do it. Other than Myles Garrett and Ogunjobi and Olivier Vernon and Sheldon Richardson, we got a good defensive line. Cornerbacks are good with Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward. Safeties, that's going to be the other issue too. But I think our defense can do better. All I know is first game against the Ravens, that's going to be a tough one too, especially at Baltimore.
So, two thoughts on this. Number one is I read a great article from Football Outsiders. It was about a month ago. And it's about the way defense has changed in the NFL. Your base defense is usually your 4-3 or your 3-4. Most teams are actually not playing base defense anymore. Most teams are actually playing either big nickel or dime. And what they're doing is they're using a safety in a linebacker position. So sometimes teams will either play one or two linebackers at a time. And the Browns have been one of those teams that are going up with the trend. That's why you see, a team like the Browns and my Eagles not valuing linebackers as much anymore because they're going to be using the safety more in that linebacker role. I think Ronnie Harrison was a great pickup. That was a really good trade, in my opinion, only giving up a fifth-round pick for Harrison. It was unfortunate that Grant Delpit went down, but I think the Browns secondary will be okay. I'm not worried about the linebacker depth as much because I know they're not going to be playing as much. My biggest worry is back to Stefanski. It's not that I don't trust him as a head coach. It's with COVID and everything going on. As a first-year head coach with not a lot of training camp, no preseason, I just feel like the teams with veteran head coaches this season are going to be better off than teams with rookie head coaches. That's my only concern.
Yeah, I can honestly agree with you. I mean, I think Stefanski seems like a better overall leader than Kitchens, but we got to just see how he does in his first NFL regular season game. I mean, I do like the way that he came from Minnesota and how the Browns and the Vikings are very similar because, we got a great running back like Nick Chubb. They had Dalvin Cook. We have great wide receivers. They have Feline and Diggs. We have Odell and Jarvis. So I have a feeling, like, offensively, I think Stefanski's got it. Defensively, that's going to be the big issue for the Browns this year.
Yeah, but if they can ball control, if they can control the clock, if they can run the football, they're going to use Njoku, I believe. I know he didn't get traded. They're going to use him a lot, along with Austin Hooper. The one guy out of the mix, I think, and Browns fans can be disappointed to hear this, but I think Rashard Higgins this season is going to be out of the mix because you're not going to see a lot of three wide receiver sets. I saw a stat last year that said Minnesota, when they went to three wide receiver personnel last year, were dead last in yardage in the NFL. When they were in the 12 personnel or two tight end, two wide receiver set, they were in the top 10 in the NFL in offense. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Austin Hooper, a lot of David Njoku, a lot of Jarvis Landry, a lot of Odell Beckham. The big question for me offensively is two things. Number one, can Baker Mayfield be happy? Can he distribute the ball? Can he play well? And number two, can these personalities like Odell Beckham, like Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, are they going to be able to handle possibly a less workload for the betterment of the team?
I think the Browns can handle it. I believe Odell Beckham is ready for one of his best seasons of his career right now. Even what's going on and stuff. I think Odell Beckham's right. Nick Chubb always seems like that player that's always ready no matter what the situation. And Baker Mayfield, he looks to be in better shape than he was last year. I think last year he was too busy hyping it up and just saying how good he'd be. And it went to bite him in the ass, actually, because of what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, for you, are you still on the Baker train? Is this make it or break it for Baker? Are you still riding on with Baker?
I would say we still have to ride with Baker, and I believe he's ready for one of his best seasons of his career. I know it's only his third season, but I think I'm going to still have to ride with Baker and until what happens because I don't want to go through the 20 quarterbacks again like we did for the past 20 years. I think Baker's our guy. I know he's in a lot of commercials again, but I feel like he is our Browns quarterback. I know he's got a big personality too, but it feels like this team right now that we have for the next 4 or 5 years is a team to be for the Browns because I mean we haven't had a good team in forever. I know your Eagles just are recently good because they had a Super Bowl 2 years ago. So you're expected to be good. I'm expected to be good. So there's a lot of pressure on our teams.
Nothing but smiles here in Philly. The one thing I will say about us though is that I am concerned about our offensive line more than ever right now. Obviously,
That's not good. That's not good with you and Carson Wentz because
I know,
Wentz has
man.
gone down every season.
Andre Dillard's out for the season. It sounds like Jason Peters wants a pay raise to play left tackle. Brandon Brooks is already down. I was really on my Eagles to start the year. I thought we could win 9, 10 games. I know our schedule is really difficult this season, but I'm telling you right now, my team, the wide receivers are going to be a lot better than they were last year, I believe. Tight end's still going to be good. Carson Wentz, if he can stay healthy. I know everybody wants to debate this Jalen Hurts thing, man. I said it at the time of the draft. This was not a draft pick to replace Carson Wentz. This was a draft pick of insurance with Jalen Hurts. The idea is Jalen Hurts will not be the starting quarterback in 2020, 2021, 2022. We're going to use him in that Taysom Hill-like role, and then if we need to, we can play backup quarterback for Carson Wentz. That's all the pick was because of Wentz's injury history.
Yeah, then I was kind of questioning on that pick at first, but now you kind of explain where I kind of get it. But I mean, we'll see what Hurts is do because I do see him being more like Taysom Hill than just a quarterback in an everyday role.
Well, and the thing is, he's a lot better thrower of the football than Taysom Hill is right now. I mean, I've seen some work in practice. Jalen Hurts is a legit NFL quarterback with arm talent. He needs some work. He needs some development in terms of coaching. But I think Jalen Hurts could be the backup quarterback. And then, it could be a Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo situation, potentially in a couple of years, where, we look to trade Jalen Hurts for maybe a draft pick.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think Hurts is gonna. He was great at Alabama and at Oklahoma, so I don't have a problem with him in the NFL. I mean, this draft class was pretty stacked with quarterbacks too. I mean, let's not forget you had Joe Burrow, you had Tua Tagovailoa. Can't remember all the other quarterbacks. Oh, you had he's from Utah. And Kent State played him. Oh, Jordan Love there. Jordan Love. I mean, we'll see what he does. I mean, he's from the Packers, sitting on the bench behind Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, we'll see about that. That's going to be interesting. I want to move on to Brady and Belichick. Obviously, Brady's in Tampa Bay now. They just added Leonard Fournette. I gotta tell you, I think they're gonna lose week 1 to the Saints. I think that's almost a lock, just because I think it's gonna be hard to get in shape. Week 1, you're playing a very good football team, but after that, you got Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, that stellar defense. Bruce Arians is your head coach. I mean, the Bucs have given Tom Brady more weapons this season, I would argue, than easily the last 7-8 years of Brady's last run in New England. This is going to be incredible. Tom Brady could throw if he wanted to 50 touchdowns, but I don't think that's the way the offense is going to work. I'm just saying if he wanted to, I think he could.
Yeah, I think he could. I mean, I'm kind of surprised you mentioned it. This is Brady's best offensive weapons team, but New England, all he had was James White, Edelman, and Gronk for a bit too, and then now he has Gronk back. They have a great connection. Now he's got 2 great wide receivers. That's even better. Now he's got Leonard Fournette in the backfield. This team's going to be very deadly. I have the Bucs actually finishing second, right behind the Saints, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. I mean, New Orleans will always be a good team in the NFC South, but I just always see them. The Bucs are going to be good. Got Bruce Arians, an experienced coach too, so that's even better. I mean, the only problem is how Brady's going to connect with his receivers. and Leonard Fournette too. We already know he's got the connection with Gronk, but receivers and Fournette, that's going to be another issue.
So here's my thing with New England is two things. Number one, I'm going to be honest. I know they signed Cam Newton, but I was very shocked that he was named the starter. I thought, no training camp reps, no preseason. I thought maybe they would start Brian Hoyer or even Jared Stidham for the first couple games, try to get Cam to learn the playbook a little bit. I was even shocked that Cam was named an offensive captain this early. To me, though, this says more about Jarrett Stidham is terrible than Cam Newton is our answer quarterback.
I wasn't shocked at all. I mean, Cam Newton, he was a former MVP 4 years ago, so I wasn't shocked Belichick made that move. And also seeing that Cam Newton's been putting work after his injury with the Panthers last year and also getting cut. It feels like he just couldn't take it. He was just, not in a good move and he just wanted to be better. And he's at a better place right now. Where else than New England with Coach Bill Belichick leading his way? So I feel like the Patriots will be fine. I mean, they're still going to be a top two team in the AFC East. The only other team they got to look out for is the Bills, and that's about it.
I actually disagree with you on that. I think Miami's going to be a lot better this season, and I think New England at most probably wins 5 or 6 games. I really do. I don't think New England's going to be that good this year. Let me really quickly, I had it last week, and I'm going to pull it up here really quick. I'm going to pull up their schedule because I want to read you their schedule. It is the hardest schedule in the National Football League. I don't see how they get even 8 wins on this schedule. So you go through it here. Week 1, they're home against the Dolphins. I'll give them a win there. They have to go to Seattle. To me, that's a loss.
Yeah, I agree.
They will host the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a win there. So they're 2-1. After that, this schedule is absolutely brutal. They have to go to Kansas City. To me, that's a loss. So you're 2-2 right there. They host Denver, and I think Denver's the sleeper team in the league this year. I think Denver is going to make the playoffs at 11-5. I think they can beat the Patriots. That's just
I don't think. I think if they played at Denver, I would give the favor. But if they're playing at New England, I would give New England the favor.
I would make the argument here. New England has always struggled against Denver. Denver has 2 bookend pass rushers, and New England has a lot of guys sitting on defense. And that Denver offense now has 3 good wide receivers. They have a good tight end in Noah Fant. 2 good running backs in Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. Drew Lock, who showed some potential last year. I think everybody is sleeping on Denver. Denver is my surprise team of the league this year. I think they go 11 wins. I think they compete for Kansas City for that division. So you can make an argument there either way with Denver. Now you're playing the Niners the next week. I think that's a loss. Even in New England, I think that's a loss. I don't think they can beat San Francisco. I just think San Francisco is a better football team. They have to go to Buffalo. To me, that's a loss. That's a hard game in November in Buffalo. Well coached. Buffalo almost beat them last year. So I got Buffalo there. Now, if they can beat the Jets, I'll give you that. They can definitely beat the Jets. But then they got to host the Ravens. They got to go to Houston. They got to play the Cardinals, the Rams, the Bills again. I mean, it's a brutal schedule, Enzo. It's brutal.
It's brutal, though. You never know what kind of scheme Belichick has to win. He just knows how to coach well. He's the best coach in the league. So I have a feeling, I think coaching will just take over in some of these games. I don't see him beating the Ravens at all at home or the Niners. The Dolphins on the road, they always lose to Miami on the road, so I already have that off. They're not going to beat the Chiefs. I mean, I feel like the Chargers, they got Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, and I think New England's defense can literally just play over that one. The Rams, I have a feeling they're not going to be that good either. And then I think they can lose to the Texans, even though Bill O'Brien's not the smartest coach around.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument, but my thing is like, okay, New England had all those opt-out on defense. They're not going to have Dante Hightower, which is their big playmaker, linebacker. They're not going to have Patrick Chung. They're not going to have some key pieces on defense. And then at receiver, who the hell do they have? I mean, they have absolutely, this is the reason why Tom Brady left. They have absolutely nobody who can separate. Don't give me Kent State alumni Joey Edelman. He is a broken down piano. I'm sorry, he's not a good receiver anymore. They just released Robinson New. N'Keal Harry looks like a bust as a first round pick and a wide receiver. They don't have a tight end. Who the hell is Cam Newton going to throw the ball to?
And just remember, Cam Newton's got speed on his legs, so you can always depend on that. That's
Okay,
just how Cam Newton is. He's just like with Lamar Jackson, but I think Lamar Jackson's slower.
You just put 8 in the box and you press up. If these guys can't separate, I don't care what speed you have. It's going to be impossible. Their best lineman at right tackle, Cannon, also opted out. So they have some offensive line issues. I'm sorry, this team is not built well. If Tom Brady was still there, I would say this is a 9-win football team. 9-10 wins. They barely got to 12 last year with Brady. And this is the worst team this year.
I would have to say this is Belichick's worst team that he's ever coached. I mean, there's a reason why I give him just about 10 wins. And with you saying they can go worse, I mean, they could. I just really don't know right now. But not just basically having your offense is Cam Newton and Sonny Michel and James White. I don't know what to do. I think you might have to use your running backs as receivers because he's got no one else to do. Maybe Edelman.
Last year, I could argue he didn't look like the same running back he did his rookie year. He just didn't. And James White can't really run the football. He can pass the ball, but they never really used him as a running back type. I know New England is smart when they rotate their backs, but I'm sorry. I look at this roster and I go, this team is not a very good football team. Yes, they have the best head coach of all time. I'll give you that. But on paper, they're the third best team in the division. I like Miami's roster better. And I think Brian Flores is a really good coach. We saw what Miami did last year, winning all those games down the stretch. They just got better players defensively. I mean, Miami could win 8-9 games this season.
Yeah, I would have to say, fighting for the number 2 spot in the NFC in the AFC East will have to be the Dolphins and the Pats. I mean, we already know about Adam Gase and the Jets. The Jets will be in the basement again.
Oh, God.
We already know that.
You know how bad I feel for Greg Williams? Like, you know how bad I actually feel for that guy? I mean, his defense was a top 7 defense last year, and now they lose Jamal Adams. They have, like, no playmakers on defense, and their defense carried them, and Adam Gase doesn't know how to play call. The Jets have no wide receivers. I actually feel bad for Sam Darnold, though I didn't think he was going to be the greatest quarterback since sliced bread, like some people thought. But I feel bad for the Jets. This team at least now has a competent general manager in Joe Douglas off the Howie Roseman tree in Philadelphia. Hopefully they can find a way to move Le'Veon Bell and do some other parts next season. But, yeah, the Jets are a dumpster fire. But I'm going to ask you this question really quickly here before I let you go. Next year's draft, obviously Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number 1 overall pick. I've always thought all along, I think New England's going to try to trade up and get him. That's part of the reason why I think they're only going to win 4 or 5 games this year. I think they're going to try to get a really high draft pick and literally try and trade their whole draft to get Trevor Lawrence in number 1 from Jacksonville, who I think is going to go 0-16.
Yeah, I can see New England trading Cam Newton in that draft too, just to get Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I feel like Cam Newton's not even going to be there that long. I mean, is he on a 1-year contract?
Yes. He is on a 1-year contract. Which is the other thing. I feel like if you're just trying to tank, why don't you just play Jarrett Stidham?
I'm guessing like Belichick doesn't want to tank too hard, unlike how Jacksonville is. But I don't think you see Jacksonville really getting Trevor Lawrence.
I don't understand what
they might get Justin Fields.
I don't understand what they've done over the last 3 years. It's like Belichick got mad. He had to trade Jimmy G, so he's just like, I'm going to run your franchise into the ground and win another Super Bowl on top of it. Because right now, this team, I'm sorry, like I just said, they're nothing. I'm not afraid of anybody on that team. Not even Cam. I haven't seen Cam play good in 2 years. So convince me that Cam Newton's going to be that quarterback of old because I don't see it.
I mean, just from the off-season work I've seen Cam put in, it feels like he might be the old Cam Newton this upcoming season. But just the only problem is not many dependable receivers or tight ends.
Yeah, that's a good point. I will give you that. All right, we're going to wrap things up here in a few minutes. And so is there any, thoughts that come to your mind at all as we wrap up the show today?
Any thoughts? I mean, some NFL teams allowing fans in the stands. Here's my point. I don't think the NFL should do any fans this year for all 32 teams. I mean, the MLB is not doing it. The NBA and the NHL are in a bubble. I have a feeling the NFL should just have no fans this year and just use the crowd noise from stadium speakers and stuff, because I feel like the stadium speakers are loud enough to bring in that fake crowd noise. Same thing goes with just with the media. It works well with picture. I mean, football is more TV oriented than baseball is.
So, wrestling in Florida has brought in some fans. They have done it at 10 to 15% capacity. So far, it has worked. There's been no COVID cases, to my knowledge, from fans. Now, that is in Jacksonville and obviously down in Florida where they're not taking the coronavirus seriously at all. But with that being said, I'm not against the cardboard cutouts, but I just hate it. I think it looks stupid. I'd prefer to just see nothing in those seats. To me, they just look stupid. I'd rather do what WWE has done, and they're calling it the Thunderdome, excuse me, which is just they're putting everybody on a big board and just showing live virtual fans. I think it's worth more for them than it has for the NBA, in my opinion, just because you can hear them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the cutouts at all, or I don't like how if you ever watch an MLB game on Fox, they have like the fans from MLB the show in there, and I have a feeling they're going to do the same with the NFL with having like the fake fans from Madden in there in the stands just to make it look sold out.
Sorry about that, guys. I just got something stuck in my throat for a second. I had to take a drink of water, so I apologize if that came out a little chunky. But yeah, I do agree with you in terms of that. So, all right, well, Enzo, we're going to go ahead and round things up for today. I appreciate you for coming on. Sean, I see your comment in the comment section. We are going to try to get you on here in a couple of weeks. I've talked to you more than I talked to Enzo, so I wanted to catch up with my man here a lot today. Thank you, Enzo, for coming on.
All right, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate being on here.